Right then, just a hump day update. I got, my formerly one and only call done. Easy peasy. Customer bought a front load washing machine. Shaked violently during the spin cycle, right out of the box. I knew what was wrong. It would literally walk across the floor. They forgot to take the shipping bolts out of the back of the unit. There's 4 bolts that hold the tub, since the tub is suspended in free airspace inside the box. It's free floating. During shipping, they put these big long bolts in that hold the tub in place so it doesn't bang around during shipping. Big stickers all over the place. Must remove shipping bolts prior to use, blah, blah, blah. Well, the guy that set this up for this lady pulled out the 2 bottom bolts, but he didn't realize that there was 4 of them. And that machine was shake, rattling, and rolling. So I pulled out the bolts, I threw a mover's blanket in, and I tested it on high-speed spin, and it purred like a kitten. So easy peasy, first time complete. While I was there, Billy calls me and says, do you want another couple add-ons for diagnostics? I think I can find some for you. So I'm like, okay, cool. There is Scrunchy found this. Scrunchy's poking around on Facebook Marketplace looking for stuff for the lake house, just like Mia was doing. And I think it's a woman's nature to interior decorate, right? I don't have a problem with it. Neither one of them made an executive decision and purchased something without my approval first, because they both realize it's my house, essentially. But Scrunchy found a freestanding coat rack cabinet. Sits up against the wall. Has cubbies in it to put your shoes in. It has hooks on it to hang your coats, and then it has a shelf on top to put your hats. I want 2 of these items, one for the upstairs door and one for the downstairs door, just to neaterize the entryway. Right now, all my shoes are sitting in a pile by the front door. It looks like ass. I got no place to hang my coats that I wear on a common everyday basis. So those are hanging on the bar stools down in the lounge. It's a shit show. I would like to be more organized. So that being said, she found one on Marketplace for $100 and really good shape. Damn near looks brand new. We sell them in our stores, smaller versions, $800. So it's a screaming deal. It just happened to be in this area I'm just leaving now. So she contacted the seller, is waiting for a response as to whether or not it's still available. TikTok went the clock. I gotta go. Billy put on 2 more calls. So that'll fill out my day for the paycheck, so that's good. But Scrunch and I will have to come over some evening after work or on a weekend with the trailer and pick up that unit if I'm able to get it, which I hope I can. Mia. My dad contacted me the other day and asked me to ask Mia if Amish women wear jewelry. Turns out they don't. But my deceased mom has a bunch of jewelry that my dad, he's downsizing now. He's liquidating stuff. And he was wondering if the Amish ladies wore jewelry, and if it was the case, he was going to donate it to them. Mia thought that was very sweet. So what Mia, she said, no, they don't wear jewelry. But what she offered to do was to take my mom's jewelry and make a picture frame or a mirror frame by hot gluing that jewelry around the border of it as a memoriam to my mom. That's pretty cool. So I told my dad to send it my way. I'll get it to Mia, and she'll get her arts and crafts on, and make that happen. But Mia's laying on the heavy sauce now. Yep. And by heavy sauce, I mean, woe is me. Without coming right out and admitting it in black and white, she's admitting she made a mistake and running away. Things like this. So the message she sent me after I asked her that simple question, hey, my dad wants to know, blah, blah, blah. I cry every time you contact me. You know, I miss you so much. That's what she said. Remember what I said about how these women, how a fatalist will do this? When the relationship's going good and it's all yuck good times and everything is normal and you see each other a lot, they get complacent. They get comfortable. And when their mind is comfortable and the bloom has gone off the rose, so to speak, and the awesomeness of the relationship has faded, or the thrill isn't there anymore, the fascination was something new, then that gives them time to sit in their dark rooms at night and pontificate and start to focus on the negatives of the relationship, if there are any, or the negatives of the person they're in the relationship with. That's called fatalism. It's a bona fide clinical mental disorder. The diva suffers from that big time. She can never be in a relationship for more than a year, because that's once the honeymoon period wears off and it's not all yuck good times, then she starts to microanalyze the negative aspects of the guy she's with. She escalates those up into big situations, and then she justifies in her mind walking away from the relationship, thinking she's miserable, unhappy. The guy is not meeting standards. He doesn't have the right check marks on the calendar to qualify to be her guy, and she terminates or fatalizes the relationship, and then sits in her dark room down the road and goes, damn, I lost the best thing that ever happened to me. That's the phase Mia's going through right now. I cry every time you contact me. I miss you so much. That's code word for take me back. I'm sorry. I gave her some tough love. I said, this is the fourth time now you've walked away for trivial reasons from a perfectly good relationship. I'm not going to live my life walking on eggshells, worried that I'm being microanalyzed every minute of the day. A list is being formulated in your head or on a physical calendar of all my trivial little flaws that you don't like, that you perceive are making you unhappy. And at some point, when a catalyst is reached, you pull the trigger and fatalize the relationship. I'm not living like that. Nope. I told her straight up, I said, do humanity a favor and never get in another relationship with another man again, if this is what you are. I explained to her, I told her straight up, I said, you are a fatalist. And I explained to her, as a double psych major, she should already know this. And she didn't contest me when I called her out on it, because she knows I'm right, like usual. She should know what a fatalist is. It's in the psych manuals. I've read it with my own two eyes as one of the personality disorders that women, or men, but most likely women, have. Because they overthink things. Right? They put too much thought process into a relationship. And somewhere, probably stemming from childhood, when they were little girls watching Little House on the Prairie or Leave It to Beaver or Hallmark movies or Disney Channel love stories, they got a formulation in their mind that that's how life is. And they expect their man to be a linguini-spined, limp-wristed, yes dear kind of guy and provide them with a Hallmark moment 24/7. It's not how it works. Not a real man. No. Maybe a borderline lighten the loafers kind of guy, but no. So I called her out on it, and I told her straight up, do humanity a favor and never date another man again. And she told me, you are the only man that I will love and that has the love of my heart. I will be single for the rest of my days, basically. Good. The planet dodged another bullet. Mankind. Now, that's harsh, right? That's cold ass hard. But it's reality. I know what I want. I know what I need in a life partner. And Scrunchy has fatalistic tendencies. Yeah. She reacts from emotion. She shoots from the hip. She makes decisions without thinking. So find me one woman that doesn't, except for my ex-wife. My ex-wife she was a rock. But that's what I need, is a rock. But all the pros and cons between Mia and Scrunchy are heavily favored in Scrunchy's corner. So that being what it is, I'm not going to give in to the tugging of the heartstrings that Mia is trying to do now, and go back with her. I'm not going to go through it again. Yeah, if I were to get back with her, it would be great for a little while. Until she got complacent, comfortable, relaxed, and the cycle repeats. That's why it's called a mental disorder. It's always there. There's no cure for it. Good. The diva, she'll never have another meaningful, long-lasting relationship ever again because she too is a fatalist. Yep. So, but that was pretty hard to read this morning, just now. Yeah, she's struggling, you know. So I told her my parting shot was, well, there's nothing wrong in having a Rolodex full of good friends. And since we can't make a relationship work, there's nothing wrong with remaining friends. And she gave me a thumbs up on that one. So she's okay with that. So this could very well turn into a situation like I currently have with Kate. Kate and I couldn't make a relationship work, but that was not because Kate was a fatalist. That was because of timing. Kate needed a savior. She was living life one step away from being homeless, and she needed a man to come in to rescue her and give her the good life. And when her and I were together, the timing was not right for that. I was still married. I had no real way out of the marriage justifiably. I couldn't very well go to my wife and say, hey, I've been slipping around on you for the last 4 years. I found your replacement. She's better than you. Bye now. I'm not a cold-hearted, cruel bastard like that. So I was trying to play both sides of the fence and stretch it out until something happened that I could justify ending my marriage and running to Kate. Well, Kate didn't have the time. She just straight up did not have the time in her life at that moment to be patient and wait for me. Along comes Rob, sweeps her off her feet. He's the great provider, and now she's living a good life. So, but Kate and I are still friends. Yep. So that worked out. Yeah. Now, granted, Kate and I had a soul connection on a spiritual level. So that connection is still there. It's not nearly as strong as it was in the beginning of us, but it's still there. It'll always be there. But it's safe to be in a friendship with Kate after the fact because I like Rob. I'm friends with Rob. I'm happy for Kate that it all worked out for her in the end. And in some aspects, I'm actually thankful that I didn't get with Kate in the end. Trivial reasons, of course, but, and I won't go into them, but I'm kind of thankful that that didn't happen. But we're great friends. She's got my 6. I got their 6. There's no jealousy situations there from me towards them, you know, where I still want Kate, and whenever we hang out together, you know, it's a stressful thing, or there's tension or anything like that. No. It's straight up all good. And there's no reason it can't be like that with Mia. There's literally no reason down the road that Mia can't come to the lake house for some aqua therapy on the dock or fishing or something like that while Scrunchy is there, and Scrunchy and Mia become friends. Yep. Yep. So it is what it is. Like I said, Billy just put 2 add-ons for me on diagnostics, and pre-screening these 2 calls, it looks like there might be bona fidely something wrong with both situations where I'll need to order parts. I pride myself on being able to solve problems and fix issues from a MacGyver standpoint and not have to throw parts at things, but yeah. So one of these calls, I have to go back the way I came. I'm now sitting stationary at a construction site. They're doing some highway work here. Tick-tock goes the clock. Thank you for a mortgage payment. So one of them is to the north, and then the other one is right in town where the shop is. So we'll go do these. That should give me a full day. When I get home, if it's not too hot, let's see what we got. Dash says 66. but I actually have the air on because that sun is pretty hot. When I get home, I'm gonna cut grass. Yeah, it's getting a little shaggy. And I'm also gonna spray for spiders. Yeah, get that done. Scrunch is more than likely gonna come up and spend the weekend at the lake house. Woot woot! I miss her. She misses me. And we're going mushroom hunting Saturday, and we're going fishing Sunday, and working on some projects Sunday morning. One cool thing about Scrunch is she doesn't seem to have a problem with leaving for work from the lake house. She has to drive all the way back down to Central to go to work. So that's an hour trip. No, it's about 45 minutes from Central. And I think, if I remember right, she's done this before. She's gotten up. Yeah, she did. I remember one time she was getting ready for work in my bathroom. She has no problem doing that. So that means she could literally stay Sunday night and roll out to work Monday morning. That would be cool. Because that would allow us to go out and fish during the magic hour, right up until dark. If we got calm winds and we can throw topwater frogs for some of those monster bass, wow, good time. I'm stoked. I'm running out of food at the lake house. I have no food, consumable type food at the Turd. So I literally have to go to the grocery store for the first time. Scrunch has been there because she was living up there for a couple of months, so she's familiar with that store. So I might see if I can sucker her into going to the grocery store with me some evening. Like maybe Saturday night after we get back from Shroomin', and pick up some things to stock up the house. Yeah. If I don't end up going back down to Central for calls for the rest of the week, she did agree to swing by the Turd and pick up those tools I need. So that'll be one of the projects we do Sunday morning, is get the brakes fixed on the Jeep. And I want to put up that tower and that antenna. But the better fishing and the more comfortable fishing happens late afternoon, evening. So that'll work out perfect. Do the projects in the morning and go out and get the string stretched in the evening during the magic hour. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome. All right, other than that, I got nothing, so we'll talk to you soon.